Welcome back everybody. Today I'm going to do something different. It's more of a vlog style video. I'm not going to be talking about any particular perfume, more talking about the last month because it's the start of October. We're at the beginning of October. Here it really means that a new season's come in. I know in the Northern Hemisphere it's obviously autumn or fall. Here it's spring, and as you can see behind me, the sun is shining. So apologies first up for the the light might change behind me. I've got a lamp just in my face, and it's a bit of a sort of put together setup for today's video. I just wanted to talk about a couple of things. You will have noticed in my last uploaded video, I did go through my current bottle collection, and I have significantly reduced it. Like, I have less than 60 bottles in my collection at the moment, and for the last few months, easily since probably June, I have pretty much focused on just wearing the bottles in my wardrobe and really appreciating all these perfumes that I love. But what struck me today was I've actually made, with the new month and new season, a conscious effort to start bringing in a lot of my samples. Now I have, like, literally, I'm just going to pull these out now. I have, containers like this full of samples, another box full of samples, and there's another box over here with samples I have not even tried yet. But I've made a very conscious effort this month to start testing some new things, and it dawned on me that what I'd been doing for the last few months, where I was wearing my perfumes, my bottles, and really getting to know them well, it kind of caused my nose and my mind to reset a little bit, become familiar with those perfumes, but also I guess it was a little bit of absence making the heart grow fonder for trying new things. It's very easy for us perfumistas and anyone who's really into perfumes the way I am and the way most of you are, to just get into this constant grind of trying new things, ordering samples, ordering decants, and constantly trying different perfumes. And I found after a few, after a few years of doing that constantly, it kind of personally burnt me out a little bit, and and there were times when I became a little bit disillusioned with perfumery itself, and I got to a point where I was just smelling a bunch of new things and nothing really I got to a point where nothing really excited me anymore, and every time I'd smell something new, my mind would sort of automatically think, this reminds me of that, and this has been done before, and this isn't that exciting. And look, if I'm trying to be as objective as possible, I still kind of think that to some degree there is, particularly in the niche world, there is just really not a lot that has gotten me very excited about anything. But having said all that, I'm very excited now to start putting some new samples into my rotation. So I don't know where I'm going to go with this, but before I do talk about some of the samples I've been trying, I do have a new bottle that I have added to my collection, and that has only happened in the last couple of days. What's been happening is I've been going to my nearest department store, and every time I go in, spraying on some 2 or 3 select perfumes that I've been thinking about and wanting to test. And a couple of days ago, I had narrowed my list to 2 or 3, and I had full intentions of going in to the store to buy a bottle of Chanel number 19. In particular, the EDT. I really liked the EDT version of number 19. I know it's been around for decades, but I'm kind of late to the love for this perfume, because I know a lot of people love the perfume. And as it happens on that particular day, maybe it was meant to be that I have to wait a little bit to get my bottle. And I know I can order it online, but of course I had it in my head that I was going into the store and I was coming home with a bottle of perfume. Unfortunately, they didn't have it in stock, so I'll have to wait a little bit longer. But I went with my second choice and came home with Pour Monsieur by Chanel, which is another one that I have been testing, and this is EDT version as well. I prefer this to the EDP version, and I tell you what, I have absolutely no regrets about this perfume. And of course, this has been around longer than number 19. It is a current version, obviously. I have no experience with any vintages of this particular perfume, but I couldn't be happier with the way it smells on my skin. And I will say this, I won't go into the smell too much because at some point I'll do a review, but I will say this, when I was reading up on this perfume, there is a lot of mention about how weak it is and how it doesn't last on skin, and I understand that, but I've got a couple of viewpoints on this. First of all, in terms of longevity of this perfume, I could still smell this perfume on my skin the next morning. So after I'd slept, I wake up and I could still smell it on my skin. I think what a lot of people are really talking about, rather than longevity, is the fact that it's a very soft skin scent after a couple of hours. The scent is there; it doesn't disappear. But no one that is further than a couple of feet away will smell this on you after a while, which is absolutely fine. And I guess this kind of leads me to a particular topic, and maybe this is another video, but I really am of the firm belief that some perfumes are not meant to be loud, strong projectors. And this particular perfume, I think, is perfect the way it is. Yes, it's very, very soft, but I can still smell it on my skin, and I'm happy with that. And it is on my skin for the whole day. Other people may not smell it, but to be honest, I don't really care about that. Anyway, Pour Monsieur is my latest addition to my collection, so that's why you didn't see it in that last video. So I have been sampling a bunch of stuff, and I think I'll mention a couple of perfumes that I've sampled recently that I've quite enjoyed. So earlier today, I sprayed on a sample of Eau de Soie by Sisley. It's my first try at this perfume. I had not sampled it before, although I had that sample for probably close to 2 years. That's how long some of these samples have gone on without being tested. And I'm very, very impressed with Eau de Soie. It's kind of, it's the very basic description is it's a floral chypre, but I found on my skin I got a beautiful fruity citrus opening, almost this combination of fruits in the opening on my skin almost smelled like a passion fruit soda kind of thing. And then that lasts for a couple of minutes, and then it goes into full glorious floral heart with this underlying not heavy, but definitely underlying noticeable layer of moss beneath it. Like it has a real classic sheep structure. It's been around since 1990, but I don't find this a very dated smelling perfume. I think it's quite lovely and perfectly unisex as long as you guys are happy to wear floral perfumes. I think it's definitely worth a try. Another perfume that I tried a couple of days ago was from a US brand, and I think they're mainly known for cosmetics, makeup cosmetics, I hope I'm pronouncing this correctly, the Chantecaille, I'll put it up on the screen. The one I tested was called Kalimantan. Now, this perfume, when I sprayed it on my skin, I mean, this is an amber perfume. It's quite spicy and herbal. So it definitely reminds me of Serge Lutens' Ombre Sultan, which is one of my all-time favorite ambers. But it also had some of those smoky herbal nuances that you find in Amouage's Interlude Man as well. And I found that really interesting. And I don't like Amouage Interlude Man because of those notes, but in this setting, in Kalimantan, it worked really well with the rest of the spicy amber accord going on there. So it's definitely one to check out. I've also, now admittedly, I have not tried any of these yet, but I just wanted to introduce you to a couple of brands, from indie brands from the US, and I've been generously sent these samples by the founder of Broken Anatomy Perfumes. These are the samples, and I just wanted to show you this cool little silicone sample holder. And I've got a few of the perfumes there. So I will be talking about these at some point when I've tested them properly. And I've also got several samples of another US indie perfumer, Wit West. They're out of Colorado, and Broken Anatomy's out of Arizona, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll be testing those as well in my sample rotations. What else have I got in here? I'm going to be testing things like I've got a generous decant of Rochas Moustache, 1949. So this is the EDT version. It's not the more popular Moustache EDP. So the EDT version, which I think was the original version, was created by Edmund Rudnitska. Let me see what else I have here. I'm going to be testing more of the Celine perfumes. I've already tested a couple, and hopefully get to talk about those a little bit. Just on a side note, when I did buy my Chanel Pour Monsieur, I was given a sample of the very, very popular Bleu de Chanel Eau de Parfum. Now, admittedly, I have smelled this before a long time ago, but I think there's something about Bleu de Chanel and its popularity, and not even to the extent of Dior Sauvage, that I've kind of avoided wearing. I know a lot of people love it, and I know it's very, very, very popular. But it's interesting because when I sprayed this on, just because I had the sample, I sprayed this on, and I immediately realized how influential this perfume has been, but not necessarily in a good way. I spoke to a couple of my friends on Instagram about Bleu de Chanel, and although it is a very pleasant, people-pleasing perfume, it's probably the exact reason why I cannot get excited about Bleu de Chanel. And someone did point out to me that it is kind of like the godfather of shower gel scents. And I'm sure it's more complex, dare I say it, probably a little bit more artistic than a shower gel scent, but it has definitely had a big influence on a lot of what people refer to as mall scents now. And you know, I have grown to love the House of Chanel, but this particular line and most of the Allure Homme line just does not excite me at all. And I get that they were probably created for a market or target audience that doesn't include me, and that's perfectly fine. If Bleu de Chanel and all those bigger sellers allow them to make, you know, more artistic perfumes like the ones that you find in the Les Exclusives line, or Egoist, or Pour Monsieur, things like that, or Number 19, then that's fine with me. But here's an unpopular opinion. It's going to be an unpopular opinion. I actually find Dior Sauvage more interesting than Bleu de Chanel. There you go. Unsubscribe now. Yeah, so really this has kind of been a little bit of a reset for me. I feel excited about smelling new stuff again. So you will be seeing a lot more reviews of things that I've never talked about before, which is good because that means I can create more content for the channel. And that's really it. That's really all I wanted to talk about. No, I can't think of anything else I want to say. So it's been lovely to feel excited about making videos for the channel again. I know there's been periods, especially this year, where I've gone weeks without uploading anything, and that will not be happening anymore. I intend to upload something new, hopefully at least once or twice a week. And yeah, so thank you again for joining me and listening to me rant as usual. I really appreciate it, because who else is going to listen to me? And I'll see you all soon. So bye.